and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Olivia and today I have a really fun video for you. I'm doing a kind of twist on what I eat in a day type video, which I have done before. So I've decided to do a few days of eating instead of just one day because I have, like mentioned before, how I'm trying to really get into intuitive eating and listening to my body and putting more natural foods in to my body kind of thing. And I feel like when you see a video that's just someone's what I eat in a day, it's first of all probably quite unrealistic because a lot of people will sort of twist what they normally eat so it looks good for a video. But I feel like if you're doing a few days of eating, which I did in this video, it's quite realistic. On some days I eat more, on some days I eat less. I eat different things, I don't eat the same thing every day obviously. One thing you will notice actually in this video is I eat fish. At one point I have started eating fish every now and then, literally like once or twice a week, mainly because I really missed it. And I kind of had a thought one day, I was like, why do I like every time I would see someone eating, not every time but sometimes I would see someone eating like a tuna sandwich or salmon or something, and I would think like, oh, I really want that. And then one day I was just sort of like, why can't I have it? So not that I'm not vegan anymore, I don't think I've ever been vegan. I don't really like having that sort of label. I just eat what I want to eat and I don't eat what I don't want to eat. I still don't eat meat, and like I said, I'm pretty sure the only thing I eat in this video is fish fingers, and I have like 3 fish fingers once, and that's all the fish I've eaten this week. So it's sort of yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, and obviously just the usual sort of disclaimer, you don't need to compare what you eat to what I eat. I really like watching these videos personally for sort of new meal ideas and new breakfast ideas or snack ideas or whatever. So it is definitely not something that you should be comparing your diet to in any way. I just think they're fun to be able to get a few more ideas. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now. I hope you guys really enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy the video. So for my breakfast on this first day, I decided to have some blueberry muffin pancakes. To be honest, I actually have the same thing pretty much every day for breakfast, and that is a smoothie, which I will have tomorrow in this video. But for the sake of the video, I thought it'd be a little more interesting if I had a few different breakfasts, just to give you guys some slightly different meal ideas. So for this first one, like I said, I'm having these pancakes, which I honestly feel like I have perfected by now. So the first thing I'm doing is blending 80 grams of oats to make oat flour in my NutriBullet. If you also have a NutriBullet as your blender, then you will know the struggles of it actually trying to blend things. So these are actually pretty handy though, because literally all you need is your blender, you don't need a bowl or anything. So then I'm adding in 100 ml of oat milk, 1 teaspoon of chia seeds, a tablespoon of maple syrup, half of a banana, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a tablespoon of baking powder. And then I blend that all up again. And then once it's blended, I'll just throw in a handful of blueberries. If you have fresh blueberries, great. If not, frozen are totally fine. I'm using frozen blueberries here. And I just kind of scrape down from the sides of the blender and mix that all in together. And then I went and heated up a pan with just a little bit of spray, and when the pan was just nice and hot, then I spooned in the mixture. This mixture makes 4 pancakes. I only put 3 in at once, and then I cooked the other one on its own just because I don't like whenever they stick together. But yeah, if you kind of divide it into 4 and just cook them until they have little bubbles on the top, and then turn them over. So I just served these pancakes with the other half of that banana and some more maple syrup drizzled over the top and a little bit of desiccated coconut just because I was feeling fancy. And honestly, these were the nicest pancakes. I went through such a phase of pancakes during like the first lockdown, but I really feel like I've perfected these, and there's no sugar in them. They are gluten-free, dairy-free, everything free. They're vegan. They are so tasty, honestly, so fluffy and so delicious. So I enjoyed those pancakes with a big glass of water. I generally drink about 3 litres of water a day, and then I made myself a peppermint tea, which I also probably have at least 1 or 2 peppermint teas a day, which is another way of getting water in, I suppose. But yeah, I love peppermint tea. I find it so warming, so I made myself one of those to just sip while I was doing some work this morning. And then for my lunch, I had some of this vegetable soup, which I had made the previous day. I just heated it up in the microwave, and I had a toasted bagel with a little bit of butter. How I made this soup was literally just 2 large leeks, almost a full bag of carrots, and like about 4 stalks of celery, and I just cooked that in some vegetable stock, and then I added in some soup mix, which was like pearl barley and peas and stuff. So yeah, that's literally all I did for that soup, but it was honestly so yummy. So like I said, I had that with a little bagel toasted on the side. And then for a quick afternoon snack, I had some hummus and cream crackers, which if you have never tried this before, guys, it's really an elite combination. I eat this all the time. It's so good. And you already know that I enjoyed this with some new girl on the TV. So then for dinner this night, I decided to make toad in the hole, and I decided to serve it with some creamy pepper mash, some onion gravy, and some steamed cabbage and broccoli. So it might sound a little bit confusing, but it was super easy to make. So I'm just slicing up the onions for the gravy, and I basically just cook them in a pan with about 2 tablespoons of oil until the onions were soft, and I added in about 2 tablespoons of Marmite, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and a tablespoon and a half of dark soy sauce. And like I said, I just cooked that right up until the onions were nice and soft. So then it was time to make the toad in the hole. Please ignore the fact that this casserole dish
have a recipe for our bacon hot pot written into it. It was just the best size dish we had. So you want to put some oil just to cover the bottom of the dish, and then put it in the oven at 180 degrees for about 15 minutes until the oil is really hot. And then you want to put 175 grams of flour into a bowl with about 80 grams of corn flour and some turmeric. I think I did maybe a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more, and about a tablespoon of baking powder. You also want to do a little crack of salt and about 375 mils of whatever dairy-free milk of your choice. I used oat milk. And then you whisk this up, and if you think that your batter is too thick, you can add a little bit more. I think it's better to add less at the start. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. So then I'm just making up about 500 mils of vegetable stock, and I am just making this what is called corn flour slurry, which I think sounds disgusting, but it's basically a tablespoon of corn flour mixed with some cold water. And then I add the vegetable stock and the corn flour slurry mix thing into the gravy. The reason you do that with the corn flour is so that it doesn't go into lumps. I just think it's weird that it's called slurry, but anyway, and just give that a mix, and you want to leave that to simmer for about 15 minutes. So then you want to take your hot oil casserole dish out of the oven and pour in your batter. It will start to cook immediately, so try and spread it out as best you can. And then you just want to set your sausages in. I used corn sausages, which are not vegan, but they are dairy free and they're very tasty. I also like the Linda McCartney ones a lot. And then I moved on to making the mashed potatoes. So I just peeled some potatoes. You know yourself how many potatoes you need depending on how many people you're cooking for, but this is just for me and my parents. And I sliced them up. I always slice them into really tiny pieces because then they take less time to boil and you have to wait less time for your mashed potatoes, which I just think is better. So yeah, I just sliced them up and then I boiled them for about 10 minutes in some hot water. So then I just drained the potatoes and mashed them with some oat milk and lots of pepper and a tiny bit of salt. So then, like I said, to serve with this for our vegetables, I decided to do some steamed cabbage and broccoli. So I just thinly sliced some cabbage and chopped up some broccoli. It's not that confusing and I don't feel like I need to explain it. But cabbage and broccoli are actually two of my favourite vegetables. So, you know, fun fact. So you want to cook your toad in the hole for about 15 minutes. This was perfect for ours and it honestly was so delicious with the gravy and everything. It was the best. And obviously we can't forget dessert. This night I had one of these Alpro chocolate yogurt things and 2 jammy dodgers and it was great. So here we go with the smoothie I was saying that I have pretty much every day. I was working this day and having a smoothie. I do it every day anyway, but it's especially helpful when I'm working because I can just make it and then sip on it throughout the morning. So I usually just do a bowl full of frozen fruit, mainly sort of half berries and half like mango, pineapple, and I'll microwave it for about a minute. Normally I also put in a banana, but we didn't actually have any bananas, so yeah, that's a shame. But I will just pop that into my blender cup, and then I will add in a big dessert spoon of chia seeds, a little scoop of this apple fibre powder from My Protein. This really makes smoothing so filling. And I will do a little bit of spirulina powder. Then I will do half milk, whether it's oat milk or almond milk, whatever I have in the fridge, and half water. And then I will just pop the lid on and blend that baby up. You were the laughter early in the morning. Then I will just transfer my smoothie into this cup that is really easy and handy to take with me to work. I will head out the door, and like I said, I will just sip throughout my morning while I'm on the go. This is super handy, super tasty, and actually pretty filling, especially with that apple fibre powder in there.
Down in the kitchen, watching TV. You were the music that led me to the sixth string. And now it's been so long since I've heard you sing.
So by the time I get home from work and get a shower and everything, it's normally about 3 o'clock. So I never want to have a big lunch because I'm aware that dinner's pretty soon. So I just had a mug of that soup from yesterday, and then I had a bowl of these salt and vinegar pot chips, which I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of, but they needed using. So I had them with a few dessert spoons of salsa, and it made them taste a bit better. I don't know, I was just trying to use up the food, guys.
Looked up to you, brother, even when you lost your way.
And then I also had a sliced up apple and a big cup full of water. And again, you guessed it, she's watching you, girl.
In the madness of New York City. Oh, you found her, and now I know there's hope for me.
So this evening I decided to make mushroom risotto for dinner. This is one of my dad's favourite meals ever. And it's one of my favourites actually as well. We have this at least once a week, and yeah, it's super yummy. I actually posted the recipe for this all over on my Instagram, so I'm not gonna take you through it in as much detail, but if you are interested, then head over to my Instagram because the recipe is there. This recipe is vegetarian, vegan, dairy free, gluten free, refined sugar free. It's everything free, but it is so super tasty.
You told me the story of how you met each other. Manhattan for coffee, first stop Astor Place.
So I'm just prepping all the vegetables, spring onions, leeks, garlic, etc. Slicing them all up pretty finely.
More of a line than a pile.
5 years later, you walk into the altar, and now she's gonna share our family's name. I looked up to you, brother.
And obviously you cannot have mushroom risotto without mushrooms. I'm doing, I think it's about 400 grams of mushrooms, 350, something like that. It's not too specific. But I did probably 3/4 chestnut mushrooms and 1/4 of just plain close cut mushrooms. Mainly because close cut mushrooms are cheaper, so they pad it out, but the chestnut ones give a really nice flavour. So I just tossed the garlic in some oil first until it was just browning, and then added all of the leeks and the spring onions, etc., and cooked those until they were nice and soft. Then added in the mushrooms, and again just cook until all lovely and soft.
When you lost your way in the madness of New York City. Oh, you found her, and now I know there's hope for me.
Probably
I
between
know
20 and 25.
there's hope for.
Then I just added in the risotto rice, and you just want to stir this all through until it's all kind of coated and well distributed throughout the sort of vegetable mixture.
Me. I know there's hope for.
Then you want to add in your vegetable stock. I've got about 1 litre of vegetable stock here. You want to sort of add it in quarters, and I put in some white wine vinegar as well, or you can choose white wine. So yeah, you just want to add like 1/4 of your vegetable stock and cook, and just let the risotto simmer, and just keep repeating that until the end, until it's all absorbed. And then add some almond milk, some parsley, some nutritional yeast. Guys, honestly, I can't tell you how good this was. Like I say, I make this pretty much every week, but this is the best one I think I've ever made. It was honestly so incredible.
Me in the madness, wherever I may be. Love is something you two make me believe.
So for my dessert this night, I had some of these hummus chips. These are so good, the sour cream and chive ones. And I had a big glass of Diet Coke, which is just my kryptonite. I love Diet Coke. And one of these brownies, which I had made the day before. These were super, super yummy.
A basement in Brooklyn.
So like I said, trying to have some varied breakfasts to show you for this video. So this day I decided to cook up some mushrooms. I cooked them in just a tiny bit of oil and some garlic and just cooked them until they were nice and soft with loads and loads of pepper and a tiny bit of salt. And I served those on just a piece of granary toast and with a little bit of butter.
I was about to say suits me, but I meant to say sounds good to me. But like it does suit me, but not that that's a concern of anyone's.
And 2 delicious fried eggs. If you guys didn't know, I have chickens at my house. I say I have them, they're my parents really, I don't do anything with them, but I don't eat eggs that often, but every now and then. So yeah, I just had 2 fried eggs this day with my mushrooms and toast. And just for you guys, I'm pretending to be fancy by putting a little bit of spring onion and pepper on top of my breakfast. You know, gotta look fancy for the video, guys. But not gonna lie, the spring onions were a very, very delicious addition, so I might have to do that more in the future. I mean, look at that yolk, really, that's so perfect. I'm just making myself another peppermint tea, again, to just sit and do work on the sofa, pretty much. So yeah, I actually went to make a chai tea this day and then realised we had no more chai tea, so that's really sad. But I also have chai tea pretty much every day. I have no idea how I have managed to run out of it. So this is probably my least nutritious meal of this 3 days. After I had come home this day, I was just not in the best mood, and you know, when you just need something quick and tasty and wonderful. So I had a fish finger wrap with way too much ketchup, and honestly sometimes that's just what you need. I love a fish finger wrap, I really do. And then for dinner I made some curry, so I figured no one needs another 10 minutes of me chopping vegetables, so I didn't show you that. But in this pan at the minute I had some garlic and ginger toasted in some oil, and then I added in a bunch of curry powder and some chopped tomatoes and a little bit of almond milk. If I'd had it, I would have used coconut milk. I think it's a lot nicer, but we didn't have any. And then I blended up that sauce and I added in a whole bunch of mushrooms and sweet potato and some chickpeas.
3, 2 guys? Okay.
So yeah, once those vegetables were all in, I just mixed it around and I covered that pot over and let that simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. And then I cooked up some basmati rice and served that along with the curry. I then gave myself a big dollop of dairy-free soy yogurt and a lovely big spoon of mango chutney and stirred that through. These really make it, guys, honestly. And for dessert this day, I had some of these sea salt lentil chips and another one of my brownies, but I heated it up with some dairy-free birthday cake flavoured ice cream and another Diet Coke. Guys, this was the best combination, let me tell you. And yeah, that's pretty much it guys for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you next time. Bye!